7 harsh truths you must accept to live a happy life. What if everything you believed about happiness was a lie? What if the reason you feel stuck, miserable, and unsatisfied isn't because life is unfair, but because you refuse to face reality? See, people don't like the truth. They prefer illusions, comforting little lies that let them stay soft, weak, and passive. That's why most people will never be truly happy. Because happiness isn't about getting what you want. It's not about luck, fate, or some magical formula. It's about accepting the brutal, gut-wrenching realities of life and still standing tall. You think successful people got there by ignoring the truth? No, they embraced it. They stared into the abyss, took their punches, and kept moving forward. They didn't waste their time complaining, blaming others, or wishing for a different reality. They adapted, they grew, and they became unshakable. Now you have a choice. You can keep living in the dark, pretending things will change on their own. Or you can face the 7 harsh truths that will set you free. But be warned, once you see them, you can't unsee them. They will change how you move, how you think, and how you live. Ready? Let's go. Number 1. Nobody cares about your excuses, only results matter. You can cry about how hard your life is. You can blame your parents, your ex, your boss, or the economy. But guess what? Nobody cares. The world only respects results. Period. Look around. Do you think the most successful people got there by making excuses? No. They took responsibility. Even when it wasn't their fault. Even when life kicked them in the teeth. Because winners don't waste time justifying failure. They adapt, they learn, and they move forward. Losers, on the other hand, play the victim. They whine about how life is unfair. They wait for someone to rescue them. But nobody's coming. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you forever. You either rise up or get left behind. So ask yourself, do you want sympathy or do you want success? You can't have both. Number 2. Happiness is a choice, and most people choose misery. Most people wake up every day and make the same miserable decisions, then wonder why their life sucks. They surround themselves with toxic people, stay in dead-end jobs, and drown in distractions. They wait for happiness to magically appear instead of building it themselves. Happiness isn't something you find. It's something you create. But here's the truth most won't admit. It takes discipline. It takes cutting out the negativity, setting boundaries, and choosing progress over comfort. Most people don't want to do that. They'd rather scroll for hours, numb their problems with cheap entertainment, and blame the world when they feel empty inside. But that's a choice. Every single day, you're choosing your future. The question is, are you choosing wisely? Number 3. No one cares about your problems. They're too busy with their own. You think people are sitting around, analyzing your failures, obsessing over your mistakes, waiting for you to slip up. They're not. They're too busy dealing with their own lives, their own problems, their own insecurities. But here's where most people get it wrong. They let the fear of judgment paralyze them. They stop themselves from taking action, from chasing goals, from standing out, all because they think someone somewhere might be watching and laughing. Reality check. No one gives a damn. And the ones who do, the ones who criticize, mock, and judge, they're usually the ones too scared to take risks themselves. So they sit on the sidelines, throwing stones at those actually doing something. The moment you stop seeking validation, the moment you realize that no one's opinions matter except your own, that's when you truly start living. Number 4. The world owes you nothing. You have to take what you want. Most people walk around with an invisible script playing in their heads, one that whispers, if I just work hard, if I'm a good person, if I wait long enough, life will reward me. Lies. The world isn't fair. It doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It doesn't care about your struggles, your sacrifices, or your sleepless nights. The world only respects one thing: results. Look at the people who succeed. Do you think they got there by waiting for life to bless them? No. They took what they wanted. They broke rules. They outworked the competition. And they refused to accept failure as an option. If you sit around waiting for someone to recognize your potential, you'll die waiting. The only way to win is to demand what you want, through action, through resilience, through sheer force of will. The world won't give you a seat at the table. You have to pull up a chair and make them notice. Number 5. No one is coming to save you. It's all on you. Let that sink in. No one is going to magically show up and fix your problems. No one is going to hand you an opportunity, drag you out of your misery, or suddenly make life easy for you. The people around you are too busy dealing with their own lives. Even the ones who care about you can only do so much. So what does that mean? It means if you want change, you have to create it yourself. If you want success, you have to build it brick by brick. If you want respect, you have to earn it through action, not words. The sooner you realize that you are your only savior, the faster you'll stop waiting and start doing. Every second spent hoping for a rescue is a second wasted. If you keep waiting, life will leave you behind. So get up, get moving, start carving your own path, because no one else will do it for you. 6. The world doesn't owe you anything. You owe yourself everything. Too many people walk around with a silent, invisible contract they think life signed with them. They believe that just because they exist, they deserve success, happiness, and a smooth journey. But here's the harsh truth. Life owes you nothing. Not a single thing. No one owes you respect. You have to earn it. No one owes you love. You have to give it before you can receive it. No one owes you success. You have to bleed for it. The faster you stop expecting and start executing, the sooner you'll break free from the chains of entitlement. The world isn't against you, but it isn't for you either. It simply doesn't care. And that's the beauty of it. Because once you accept that, you realize you are free. Free to create your own rules. Free to build the life you want. Free to demand more from yourself instead of begging from others. Stop waiting for life to hand you something. Life is waiting for you to take it. 7. One day, no one will remember you. So stop living for their approval. Let that sink in. 100 years from now, even your name might be forgotten. The things you stressed over, the people you tried so hard to impress, the opinions that kept you awake at night, none of it will matter. So why are you still living like a puppet, controlled by the invisible strings of validation? You post something, waiting for likes. You hold back from speaking your mind, fearing judgment. You chase dreams that aren't even yours, just because society told you that's what success looks like. But here's the brutal truth. Most people don't care. They're too busy worrying about their own insecurities to think about yours. And the few that do, they're just as lost as you are, masking their own doubts behind criticism. So why waste another second playing by their rules? If you knew that in the end, no one's opinion would matter but your own, what would you do differently? Would you take that risk? Would you finally stop holding back? Would you start living for yourself instead of for the faceless crowd? The clock is ticking, and every second spent worrying about what others think is a second stolen from the life you could be living. And yet here you are trapped in a cycle of hesitation, trapped in a prison built by expectations you never agreed to, trapped by a voice in your head whispering, what if they judge me? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? But let me ask you something. Who gave that voice so much power? Because the truth is, no one actually stops you. No one forces you to stay stuck. It's not the world holding you back. It's you. You've spent so much time trying to be acceptable that you forgot how to be unstoppable. Think about it. The people you admire, the ones who truly made an impact, were never the ones who played it safe. They were the ones who stopped caring about approval and started caring about action. Steve Jobs, he dropped out of college and was told he'd never amount to anything. Elon Musk, he was mocked for chasing ideas that seemed impossible. Kanye West, they laughed when he said he'd be the greatest. But guess what? None of them waited for permission. None of them played small to make others comfortable. None of them let fear decide their future. So what's your excuse? Are you really going to let the fear of judgment stop you? Are you really going to waste your life trying to impress people who don't even think about you when they go to bed at night? Because here's the truth. Whether you succeed or fail, people will talk. Whether you play it safe or take the leap, people will judge. So why not do what sets your soul on fire anyway? The world isn't waiting for another person who blends in. It's waiting for someone who stands up, someone who refuses to be controlled, someone who is willing to risk it all for something greater than validation. Are you that person? Or are you just another ghost in the crowd, fading into the noise?